Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hugger AJ Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Hightown season number 2, episode number 3, which is titled Fresh as a Daisy. And again, if you guys aren't watching this show, I highly recommend that you do. It's well written. It has very interesting characters. It has queer rap. It has drama. It has tension. It's just a very fun show. Give it a watch. But yeah, anyway, episode number 3 opens up with Charmaine because she's basically now working with Jorge and Frankie, and they are giving her a private jet service. So she walks into the jet with one of her fake bags. I think the bag has all of the drugs in it. But yeah, she goes into the plane, and because Charmaine is a kid. This is what I got from the scene. That because Charmaine is a kid, she's more interested in how to flying the jet instead of just relaxing and sitting back. And yeah, I think the pilot's name is Lance. So Charmaine is like, Lance, is it okay if I sit with you? And Lance is like, yeah, come on up. So she sits with Lance, and she's like, okay, so how do you turn this thing on? And Lance tells her how you turn this on. So basically, I think that Lance is giving her flying lessons, and I guess this is going to come into play later on in the season, and I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, Charmaine arrives at a destination where Jorge is waiting for her, and we have the guard with Jorge, and Jorge is like, take the bag from Charmaine, and Charmaine is like, okay, so now what? And Jorge is like, you know what? You're in the big leagues now. However, you need to buy a new bag. So she walks away with Jorge, and I'm like, you know what? I get that Charmaine is working with Frankie and Jorge. I really think that there's going to be a whole lot of tension between them, and I don't think that Charmaine should trust these two fully, and I think that she doesn't. Considering the scene that comes later on in the episode featuring Osito, but I'll get to that in a bit. So Charmaine is working, again, as I said, Charmaine is working with Frankie and Jorge. While that's happening, Ellen got back the autopsy report for the body he found in the previous episode. And yeah, it turns out that that the dead body is of Sean, who went by the name Frizza or Frizzle or something to that effect. Because in season number 1, Osito ended up shooting Sean in front of Junior because Sean wanted to kill Junior, but Osito saved Junior's life. So yeah, Jackie is going through the autopsy report while Alan is giving her all of the information about how the head got chopped off. It was very hard to identify and all of that stuff. And Jackie's like, I know Sean. And this is where Alan is like, you know what, Jackie? From what I know, it was Junior who ended up killing Sean. And Jackie is like, no. That's not right. That doesn't make sense because as far as I know, Sean wanted to kill Junior. So in a sense, even if Junior did kill Sean, it was in self-defense. And Alan is like, Jackie, I understand that you were very close to Junior because Junior was basically like a brother to Jackie. And Alan is like, you know what? If working on this case is too much for you, you can take a break. And Jackie's like, no. You know what? I want to continue working on this case, but yeah, as far as Jackie is concerned, Junior, yeah, he had his issues, but Junior wouldn't go far enough to actually kill a person. But because Alan didn't necessarily know Junior, he's not taking Jackie's word for it. And because Alan is like, you know what, I have a person in the interrogation room connected to Junior, so we should go talk to that person. And it turns out that the person is Donna. Now, I do have to apologize, my bad, because in episode number 2, the woman that came to Xavier's for a job, that was actually Donna. And I have no idea why I didn't recognize her. Maybe it was the lighting, or maybe because Donna wasn't necessarily a significant character for me when I was watching season number 1, and I kind of forgot about her. But yeah, in season number 2, the person who ended up getting the job at Xavier's is Donna. She was the one talking to Renee about how difficult it is to be a single parent. But yeah, they're in the interrogation room, and Jackie's like, how you holding up, Donna? And Donna's like, yeah, I'm okay. Why am I here? So this is where Alan is like, do you recognize this jumper? And Donna's like, it belonged to Junior. And this is where Alan tells Donna about how Junior possibly ended up killing Sean, and does she think that Junior was capable of killing someone? And Donna's like, you know what, from what I remember, Sean was someone who threatened Junior's girlfriend, me, and Junior's kid. So if Junior did kill Sean, I I would be very happy about it because that would mean that Junior ended up killing Sean in order to protect me and our daughter, so our child. So yeah, I'm okay with it, and Alan is happy because again, Alan is like, we got a character witness, so I guess Junior did kill Sean, and but yeah. Jackie isn't buying it, and as Donna is leaving the police station, Jackie goes after her, and Jackie's like, "Donna, I understand how tough it is for you now that Junior isn't here anymore. It's tough for me too. Okay, so please be a bit understanding about it." And Donna's like, "Jackie, no, you don't understand what I'm going through." And this is where this is where Donna tells Jackie about the new job that she got at Xavier's, and Jackie's like, "Wait, you're working at Xavier's with Frankie and Jorge, the people responsible for killing Junior?" And Donna's like, "It's a paying job. I have no other choice. I have to feed my family." And this is where Jackie's like, "You know what, Donna? Why don't you become a CI for me? Why don't you feed me information from Xavier's?" And Donna's like, "I can't believe you just gave me that." You just gave me that option, Jackie. I'm not taking it. I'm not going to work for you or the police. Just leave me alone. And she walks off. And yeah, she's worried about Alan pinning the murder on Junior because she doesn't want that, and especially because Junior's dead and he can't defend himself. So yeah, this is where Leslie comes in, and because Jackie and Leslie ended up hooking up in the previous episode, which was a surprise. But yeah, things are a bit awkward between these two, and Leslie is like, "Jackie, are we okay?" And Jackie's like, we're okay." And so these two have to work on a stakeout job outside Xavier's, and Leslie's like, "Oh, are you sure you're okay?" And Jackie's like, "Yeah, I'm okay, but give me a few minutes because I have to take deal with something very, very important." So it turns out that Jackie, without telling Alan, she decides to go to prison and meet with Osito. And she's like, "Osito, I know that you lied about Junior being the one who killed Sean. Why did you do that?" And Osito is like, "You know what, Jackie, do you really think that Junior even cares anymore? He's dead. So what if I pin the murder on him?" And this is where Osito is also like, "You know what, Jackie, I killed Sean because I loved Junior. I cared for him. And I protected his life." And this is also where Osito tells Jackie that Junior was a very, very good friend for Jackie to have, because if it wasn't for him, things would have turned out very, very differently for Jackie in the previous season. And yeah, Osito's like, "You know what, Jackie, I did what I did. You can walk away now." And Jackie does that. So we cut to Renee. She's at the hospital. She has had some tests to confirm whether or not she's pregnant. So yeah, she's pregnant. And the doctor is like, "Okay, you're pregnant. What do you want to do? How do you want to proceed with this?" And Renee is like, "Doctor, I have a question. Is there any way we can tell the race of the child, whether a child is going to be white or Dominican?" And the doctor is like, "Yeah, there is a way. It's like we can do a fetal paternity test, but it's a very high risk, and I wouldn't recommend it. But is this something very important to you?" And Renee is like, "You know what, doctor? On second thought, I think I know who the father is. I was just asking a question." So the doctor is like, "Do you want to keep the baby?" And Renee is like, just set the time. Set the time because I'm not going to keep this child," which makes sense because there's no way that Frankie is going to let Renee go, like stay alive. If he realizes what just happened, that Ray ended up making Renee pregnant. So yeah, Renee comes back home. She has had a lot she has a whole lot of thing to think about. She's on the bed, and this is where Frankie comes into the room. Frankie is being all horny, and he's like, "Renee, I want you here right now. Be with me." And Renee is like, "Frankie, not now. I have these cramps, so I hope you understand." And Frankie ends up kissing Renee's stomach, and in a way he ended up kissing the unborn child inside Renee, and it was weird. It was weird. So we cut to Ray spending time with Nikki. They're playing outside in the street. Nikki's mom comes in, and yeah, things are awkward between Nikki's mom and Ray. But she understands that Nikki needs that Nikki wants to spend more time with his father. So Ray walks up to his ex-wife, and he's like, "Are you okay with Nikki spending time with me?" Where Marianne is like, "You know what, Ray, I know that you don't actually have a job anymore, and you can't go back to the force. I had to switch Nikki over to my insurance plan and all of that stuff." And Ray is like, "Marianne, I'm trying. Just give me a chance. our son needs this. And Marianne is like, yeah, okay. She just wants to go in and rest after having a very, very tough day at the hospital. And this is where Marianne is like, you know what? If you want to do something, one of the toilets in the bathroom is leaking, and Rhea's like, you know what? I'll fix that. So yeah, he's like, Nikki, you want to learn how to fix a toilet? And Nikki's like, not necessarily, but that's something that they are going to do. And you can actually tell, like, in my opinion, I think that Marianne still has feelings for Ray. I just hope that she doesn't get her heart broken. So we see Alan going to his superior, and the superior is like, okay, Alan, you're doing a very good job with the case. I'll get you on the force that are going to go after the entire drug thing with Sean and stuff. And this is also where the superior is like, you know what, Alan, I was talking to other superiors in the force, and your name came up, and I told everyone that you were a hard worker, and that makes Alan very happy. And as he's making his way towards his office, Jackie comes in, and Jackie is like, Alan, I have to talk to you, because I just went and met with Osito, and Osito is lying. It turns out that Osito actually saved Junior's life by killing Sean. And Alan is like, hold on. You went to Osito without asking me, without my permission, without going to the proper chain of command? And Jackie's like, yeah, that's not important. And Alan is like, no, that's important. Things work differently around here. So the next time you want to do something, you need to ask me first. Now get out. Like, he actually threatens her, kind of. He threatens her job. He's like, you know what? You're on probation over here. You're on a trial period, so you need to behave yourself if you want to continue doing this job. Now go and meet up with your partner, Lauren, because she's the one who's actually doing police work. And Jackie's like, yeah, okay. Also, it's not Lauren, it's Leslie. Like, I am so bad with names. What was wrong with me? But yeah, we get an entire scene where Ray and Nikki are fixing the toilet, and basically Nikki is bonding with his dad. And yeah, Nikki actually tells Ray that, you know what, I know what happened between you and Mom. And Ray is like, we decided not to talk about this, keep it a secret from you. And Nikki's like, it's not like my mom told me. I just overheard her crying to one of her friends over the phone. And yeah, Dad, you ended up hooking up with a coworker. It was an affair, and even I know that you shouldn't do that. And Ray is like, Nikki, I'm trying. I'm sorry. I messed up. Just help me mend our relationship. As Nikki's like, yeah, okay, let's do that. And also wooden flooring in the bathroom. I'm like, that's a choice. So Jackie goes ahead and she meets up with Leslie, and this is where, like, again, things are a bit awkward between them, so they try to be friendly with each other. They need to have a conversation after hooking up, and this is where Leslie is like, Jackie, you don't have to worry about anything, because if it's just a hookup, it was nothing more. Sometimes co-workers hook up. And Jackie's like, wait, what do you mean by sometimes co-workers hook up? And this is where Leslie tells Jackie that she ended up hooking up with Ray. The affair lasted for a year. And Jackie's like, really, Ray? And Leslie's like, yeah, Ray is a lot, but he's very good in bed. And Jackie's like, stop. I don't want to listen to your sexual escapades. And Jackie is like, but yeah, Leslie is also like, Jackie, but he's no Jackie. So basically, so you can tell that there's a spark between these two, and their relationship is going to continue. So we cut to Charmaine, and she ended up going to prison to meet with Osito, and Osito was like, Charmaine, why are you here? And this is where Charmaine tells Osito about working with Jorge and Frankie, and Osito is like, okay, but you need to be careful with those two. And Charmaine is like, yeah, I understand that, I get that. And she's like, Osito, I can help you. And Osito's like, how? She's like, I can give you product to sell around here so you can make friends. And Osito's like, wait, why do you want to help me? What's in it for you? And Charmaine is like, well, you aren't going to stay here forever, right? So when you come back out, I want you to start working for me. We have a deal. And Osito, because he's running out of options, Osito is like, yeah, I think I can do that. And he also asks Charmaine about how she's going to get the product to him. And Charmaine is like, leave that to me. Just be ready. So we get to see Leslie and Jackie in their car, keeping an eye on Xavier's, and Jorge and Daisy do come out and they start kissing right in the open. And Jackie goes on to, I think, the Xavier's website to figure out which woman Daisy is, and she's like, okay, so this is Daisy, one of the dancers in Xavier's. And Leslie is looking at those two, and they continue kissing, and it's like they're going to like have they're going to be intimate right there in the open, and Jackie's like, this can't be happening. But yeah, it's just a ruse, and it turns out that Daisy and Jorge knew about Leslie and Jackie keeping an eye on them, and Jorge ends up mooning Leslie and Jackie, and yeah, they played them. And Leslie's like, you know what, Jackie, don't feel bad. This is what happened during, this does happen a lot during stakeouts. We'll come back again in a few days in a different car and try again. Jackie's like, I need answers now. So without waiting for Leslie to accompany her, she just barges right into Xavier's. She goes past the guard, and she's like, I'm looking for Jorge. And as she's looking for Jorge, she ends up meeting Frankie in his office. And Frankie's like, oh, nice seeing you here. And Jackie's like, same to you. And these two have a very tense conversation because, yeah, Frankie doesn't appreciate Jackie just barging into his office. And he actually threatens Jackie because Frankie is like, Jackie, I'm a private citizen now who has the right to defend himself, so you just can't barge in right here or you'll face consequences. And yeah, Jackie understands that Frankie is serious about this, and she also mentions Junior, and basically she's telling Frankie that she's going to try everything in her power to take his operation down, because she actually states that as far as she's concerned, Frankie's the one who ended up giving the drugs to those 3 kids who ended up dying in the previous episode. So Leslie comes in right in time, and Leslie is like, hey Frankie, everything cool, huh? And she actually is like, Jackie, we need to get out of here. And as these two are walking out of Frankie's office, they end up meeting Jorge, and Jorge is like, oh, it's you two. So did you find anything, officers? And he's teasing them, and Jackie's like, and he actually like says something about Leslie's appearance, about how he finds her hot, and Jackie's like, that's my partner, you need to show him respect. And Jorge is like, oh, okay. So as Jackie and Leslie are leaving the establishment, Donna is looking at the scene, and and this is where I'm like, yep, Donna is going to try and help Jackie, right? So these two are walking out, and Leslie is like, Jackie, you can't be this impulsive while working on a case. We are women in the force, and we are held to different standards, different set of rules, and we can't just act like Ray and not expect to face consequences. And Jackie's like, yeah, that's what I don't appreciate. But again, Leslie understands where Jackie is coming from. She actually likes how impulsive Jackie is. So as these two are talking, Leslie is like, you know what? If anyone asks, we stayed in the car, okay? Jackie's like, yeah, okay. Anyway, Jackie gets a call, and it's from Ed, because yeah, Jackie was supposed to come over to Ed for dinner, and she is like, oh, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And she ends up inviting Leslie with her, and Leslie is like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll have dinner with a father figure in your life. So we cut to Ray. He ends up going to talk to Marianne, because Nikki ditched him to watch videos on YouTube, and Marianne is watching Dirty Dancing, which Ray kind of remembers but doesn't. Like, he's joking, because I think that considering what Renee said in the next scene, I think that Dirty Dancing is Ray's favorite movie, I guess. So these two are bonding, and Marianne is like, Ray, I understand you wanting to spend time with Nikki. I'm not against it. And yeah, you don't have to fix the basement either, but if you want to sit down on the sofa with me, you can. So yeah, there's still feelings between these two, and Ray is like, you know what, Marianne, maybe another time, and he just walks away, which is a good thing. So we get to see Renee and her kid watching Dirty Dancing as well, and Renee is like, do you think mom can dance like this too? And her kid is like, yeah, she can. And Frankie walks in, and Frankie's like, what the heck are you watching? I don't want my son to be watching this girly stuff. And Renee is like, yeah, we can switch to another video or movie. And this is where the kid is like, but I have already watched the entire movie with Uncle Ray. And yeah, that gets to Frankie, because again, you can tell that Frankie is still suspicious of Renee, because he thinks that she's still harboring feelings for Ray, and he doesn't like that, and he's going to make Renee prove her love or allegiance later on in this episode. So we cut to Leslie and Jackie walking over to Ed's house, which is a massive house, a massive expensive house. And Jackie is like, yeah, he was able to buy this quite cheaply back in, I guess, in the 80s. So we get to see Ed's wife, and she is like, what are you guys doing out here? It's dinner time, come on in. But before that scene, we did get to see Ed meeting with Leslie, and Ed is like, Jackie, I miss you. And Jackie's like, yeah, I miss you too, but it is what it is. So it turns out that Frankie decided to take Renee to this place for dinner. Jorge and Daisy are with them, and yeah, Renee is like, "Why are we even here? This place looks like a dump." But yeah, it's the same bar where Ray is working because Frankie needs to test something. Frankie needs to see how much Renee still cares for Ray. So he's playing this weird, emotionally manipulative mind game, and Renee doesn't appreciate that, but there's nothing that Renee can do because she starts to leave and Frankie stops her. So they sit down and they end up paying Gina $50 for Ray to be the one to service their table. And Ray is like, wait, hey, I don't wait tables. And Gina's like, just do it, Ray. They ask for you by name. And Ray decides to go to the table. And this is where Jorge and Frankie start making jokes on at Ray's expense because they're like, you aren't even a police officer right now. So what, you're a waiter now? That's funny and all of that stuff. And Ray is like, you know what? I'm not paid enough for this, so I'm not going to wait tables for you. And he starts walking away, and Frankie doesn't like that. Frankie stands up, he goes after Ray, and he starts taunting him. And Renee is like, stop this, guys, don't do this. And Renee actually directs her attention to Frankie. She's like, Frankie, he's not worth it. Let's just go. And Frankie's like, yep, you heard the woman. As she said, you're not worth it. And that gets to Ray, and Ray ends up punching Frankie, and then Frankie punches Ray. Frankie actually punches Ray twice. A fight breaks out. The other waiter steps in to stop the fight, and Gina, and yeah, after punching Ray 2 times, Frankie and the rest leave, and Gina's like, Ray, you're fired, and I'm also calling 911. So we cut to the dinner scene, and they're sitting down for dinner, and this is where Ed's wife actually asks Leslie whether or not she's a lesbian. It was a very messy scene, and Ed's wife is like, I can ask that, right? Because yeah, she's like, my sister's child is non-binary, so that's why I asked. And yeah, it's a mess. So Ed and Jackie start talking about sharks that they were tagging before Jackie joined the force, and Ed is like, you know what? 2 or 3 sharks just disappeared, and Jackie is like, wait, so are poachers involved? And Ed is like, maybe, I guess poachers are involved. And Leslie is like, wait, you guys have poachers here? And Ed is like, yeah, but it's a very serious thing. It's like $1 million operation. We have been trying to stop it. And he's like, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to interrogate one of the people involved in poaching and all of that stuff. And Jackie's like, oh, that's very, very interesting. I would like to go. Can I go, please? Yeah, Leslie is like, you know what, Jackie? As far as I'm concerned, you can do whatever you want. It's your life. So if you want to spend time with Ed, you can do that. Now, considering that sharks are being poached, I'm not necessarily sure how that's going to link with what Jorge and Frankie are doing, but I'm looking forward to it. So Frankie and Renee are back home, and yeah, Renee actually bursts on Frankie because she's like, I didn't appreciate that act you pulled in the bar. I didn't appreciate that, Frankie, because you're jealous. You're jealous of Ray, and that's pathetic as far as I'm concerned. And this is where Renee actually showcases her acting skills. She's like, Frankie, whatever I did for you. I hooked up with Ray to get you out. And Frankie's like, yeah, you keep on saying that you love me, but prove it. And Renee's like, how the heck am I supposed to prove that to you, Frankie? Tell me. I ruined an entire man's life. What more do you want me to do? Do you want me to kill him? Give me a gun and I'll go kill him. And that actually gets to Frankie. I guess he has stopped being suspicious of Renee because he's like, oh, you right now, you gave me this ride and die thing that I wanted to see from you. So yeah, Renee's acting skills worked on Frankie, and I guess he'll stop being suspicious of her. Hopefully. So it's time for Jackie and Leslie to say goodbye to Ed and his wife, and yeah, Ed's wife does give them food to take home, and she's like, you know what? Don't reheat it in a microwave, or else it will get soggy. And Ed is like, okay, Jackie, see you tomorrow during that interrogation. And Jackie's like, yeah, I'll be there. And as they're leaving, Jackie gets a call, and it's Donna. And Donna's like, you know what, Jackie, I'm going to help you, but don't get this twisted. I'm not doing this for you. like this is something that needs to be done because I want to take down Jorge and Frankie as well. And Jackie is like, yeah, I understand that. So is there any information you want to give me? And this is where Donna tells Jackie that basically Jorge is Daisy's pimp. And Jackie relays that information to Leslie, and Leslie's like, this is good. This is very, very good. We can use that. And yeah, they're happy about it. So I guess Jorge is their next target. And of course, both of these women are excited and they're like, what do you want to do now? And Leslie's like, I was just going to drop you home. And yeah, she drops Jackie home and they hook up. I think Leslie tries to top Jackie, but Jackie's like, not tonight. But they do hook up. So Ray's bailed out of the police station, and Nikki's here to. I'm not really sure if he was bailed or if he was just let go, but yeah, he comes out of the police station and he actually ended up calling Nikki to pick him up, and Nikki is not happy about it because Nikki's like, you know what, Dad, I thought that you had changed, but if this is how it's going to be having you as a father, I don't want it. And the entire trip in the car, Ray basically shared his emotions in front of Ray because Nikki doesn't appreciate Ray being a mess and he doesn't want to take care of Ray. And he's like, also, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And Ray is like, come on, Nikki, I'm trying. You have to give me another chance. And Nikki's like, I don't want that. And he also tells Ray to stay away from his mom because he's like, you know what? My mom still has feelings for you. She still thinks that you have changed and that you'll be better. But I know that that's not going to happen. So stay away from my mom, Ray. And that's actually what happened. And yeah, after dropping Ray outside his house, Nikki just drives the car away, and Ray is very angry about what just happened, and he gets into the car. And at first I was like, wait, is he going to go over to Frankie's house in order to beat him up? But no, it turns out that he ended up going to Alan's house, and Alan is like, what the heck are you doing here, Ray? And Ray is like, Alan, I need your help. I need you to get me back on the force. And Alan is like, I can't do that, Ray. I just can't. But Ray is like, you know what, Alan, you know that I'm a good detective. I'm a good police officer. That's the thing that I do. So just help me out here. And this is where Alan is like, you know what? We are looking for information about who gave the drugs to Coco before his murder. So if a public person, if a public citizen ends up relaying this information to me, I'll have to hear that person out. So he's basically giving hints to Ray about what he needs to do in order to get involved in the case. And Ray is like, yeah, I'll do that. So yeah, Ray is happy, and Ray is like, okay, so is there a chance that I can get something to eat? And Alan is like, Ray, get the heck out of here. And this is where the episode ends, with Ray regaining a sense of direction because he now knows what he needs to do. He needs to work on his own, basically as, I guess, a private detective in a sense, in order to gain more proof or information about who gave Coco drugs before he got killed by Doug. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Ray is going to do. Hopefully he won't mess things up, but he probably will. But yeah, let me know what you thought of episode number 3 down in the comment section below. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm looking forward to episode number 4. But yeah, let me know. And until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later.